to Reality Kingdom. We put the real in reality or whatever.
Period. We're back. And we're better. And we're coming another season of Survivor.
Second chances. Hell
like,
no.
I wish it was something.
This Survivor, y'all.
I wish it was something, but it's Survivor 45.
Drop the 4, keep the 5. That's all.
Drop the 4, literally.
That's the most we're getting. It's dropping.
When was All Stars originally?
7.
So 47 is going to be All Stars again?
It was 8. My bad. It was
8. 48 is going to be All Stars again then?
No, it was going to be 50, probably.
50 would eat. I mean, they can have 2. Shit. We need a revival, okay? We need a revival of the Survivor franchise. I'm not saying that it's going downhill because I think cast-wise, especially with the diversity we've been getting, I've been enjoying it, but it's getting stale because, Jeff refuses to switch up the goddamn
and you
the twist or anything. The cast, the trial format, the twist. I mean, we've been getting 41.02, 3,
1, 2, 3, and 4 for the last 5 seasons.
The new era started. Like, I get it. I'm tired of dropping the 4.
I
want to keep the 4 this time. Yes,
actually,
I want this to actually be 45 because we need something new.
And we're not getting it, but we are here for Survivor 45 now. This season, y'all, they will be doing 1 hour 30-minute episodes. This is something that might
90 minutes.
This is something that might make it feel. It might make it feel different. I think for me, I'm hoping for more strategy. That was in the promo. In the promo, they was saying that there might be more strategy in there. They were saying there might be more strategy in the episode since there's 90 more minutes. So hopefully, this is the issue. The issue with the new era and the edit. I think it's always been combined with the edit. I don't think it's just been terrible. I think it's been hard to edit. So much going on. They're claiming we're going to have more information to see. Last season, there was 4 or 5 eliminations. They're randomly saying, oh, actually, so-and-so, I forgot them people names so fast. But anyways, they were like, so-and-so actually had a relationship with everybody in the game. Oh, they're going home this episode, by the way. Okay, girl.
Actually, they were really an underestimated player this entire time. They've been making low-key moves. We didn't see them. Like, a key name that sticks out to me is Lauren last season. Yep. Like, she was really barely in the edit at all, but she was someone towards the end of her time there. People were saying she was considered to win. Like, who was the girl who had a fake idol? Who was her name?
Cannot remember her name. Fake idol girl. That's who I was thinking of this whole time. She had 2 names, though. Let me Google it.
Jamie Lynn.
Jamie Lynn.
It's like her edit was entirely made up of this power that was fake. This idol that was fake.
She never played the fake idol.
Never even played it. So I just feel like...
And they went home with it or something.
Yeah, like that's really the biggest critique. Like we really don't understand how some of these votes come together because we really don't understand the social dynamics. And they've been trying to fit into these 60-minute episodes an advantage trek through some random ass place, a immunity, and sometimes a reward, plus the social connections. I really hope in this 90 minutes it's not just, filler that means nothing. Like I don't have to see a whole reward challenge if you weren't going to show it already. What they need to do is treat every episode as if it was going to be 60 minutes and then just expand upon that. Don't try to give us extra shit that is not going to be relevant at all. So it's like I don't want to see a longer journey where they talk more about honestly sentimental shit. I don't want to see it. I love the character building moments that we get, especially in the beginning. But as we go along, it sort of seems irrelevant when you don't know shit that's happening on the goddamn drop. I don't want to know about such and such's personal life when I don't know who the fuck they're working with in the game. That's how I feel about it a little bit. Like, I don't know these people for real. I want to know them in the game, not outside of it. So I think it's cute in the beginning, but I don't want these 90 minutes filled with more backstories, more reward challenges, more journeys. I want strategy. I want social game. I want to see that. I want to see how these tribe dynamics are really breaking down, where they really stand in this game. Because a lot of people, it comes down to we don't know where they stand. We don't know how other people perceive them. Like something simple as that. Like we don't get any of that with so many of these people. We get 18 to 20 players a season, and that's why I feel like it feels like such a blur. because it's like most of these people, they're irrelevant until they go home, and they focus on them that one episode. We get a flashback, child, and then
Mm-hmm.
they're never to be heard from ever again.
And I think what the issue is, and this is it's weird to I'm gonna try to make it make sense. I think with the smaller tribes, everyone is way more relevant than they normally would have been. There's only 6 people, everyone's vote matters. And it sounds bad, but I kind of miss when people were irrelevant. I kind of miss when we could focus on poverty. And everyone else in this whole situation is like, okay, girl, they're an other. But we can't do that because there's only 6 people here. Everyone votes matters. Everything going on with every single person matters, and they're trying to stuff it in the episode. So then, whenever a tribe is going to tribal pre-merge, everyone is relevant, and then when they get to merge, everyone in that tribe was relevant. But now it's like, oh, never mind. Who is this again? Or a tribe doesn't go at all, and it's like we don't know anyone there. And then now they're merged with people we only know. We've known these people the whole time, and we don't know any other tribe.
Yeah, it's
Or
why
it's just
like the Tika
so
three is so
yeah.
developed by the time we get to jury because they lose back to back, and in other
Mm-hmm.
tribes we don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
So certain dynamics like that, I'm really hoping to just really change. And honestly, I think we need to go back to 39 days. Like, I don't think the 26 days is
Okay.
needed. I feel like them going to 26, like it may be making the game too fast paced, kind of
Yeah.
like, and it seems like maybe the edit probably can't keep up with it. I'm not too sure, but I think there is a disconnect between the actual game that's getting played and what is shown to us because
Mhm.
it's honestly just been feeling like a lot of filler. And like I
It's
would
just a
hate that
combination.
if we get 90 minutes and it's just more filler. Like a few times
Yeah.
we recap and we've come on and it's like this episode was there. This episode was there.
Yeah.
Because if we don't know about like this thing, if there's an 18-person cast and the only people we care about is the Tika 3, that means we have to sit through elimination after elimination of irrelevant ass people that we don't know. Especially in a situation like last season, Jam Jam ended up winning, you know? So it's like we knew we really got Jam Jam story and Carson and Carolyn, but every single elimination vote kind of in retrospect was like literally nothing because they were nobody that
Yeah.
entire time.
Exactly. And I think it's the fact that they're trying to not pretend, but they're trying to build every episode into a story. And this person got eliminated because this isn't. And first of all, the shit don't even make sense sometimes. And then it's someone who's irrelevant that you're trying to force this kind of story behind randomly. And it's like, okay, girl, I guess. Or even sometimes if someone makes it to the end game, they try to make their story really relevant, like Owen Knight. No shade to him, sorry. But they try to make his story just
Cassidy, no
extremely relevant.
shade.
Who?
Cassidy, no
Or
shade.
Cassidy, you know. It's just, there's people who get to the end who, because they're getting to the end, they're trying to big up their story. Or even like the Franny and her boyfriend. It's like, why was that so relevant? When
Not
he
you got that man name.
What's
You
that
said
man? Matt.
Franny and her man.
Franny and her boyfriend. Yeah, it was like, honestly, Franny wasn't even that big. Like they were like
That was kind of like the biggest plot other than the Tika 3 now I think about
yeah,
it.
and
Franny
I feel
and her
like that
boy.
was like a waste. We could have just knew who Jamie Lynn was close with instead of y'all randomly bringing it up. Like not a waste, but they talked about it every single episode until Matt went home. And even when he went home, they talked about it because he was sitting in the jury looking at her. And it's like, please, we didn't need it. Like we did not. We could have been talking about something else. And I feel like it's the editing plus the fast pacedness plus the less days plus the 3 tribes. Because I was finna say the it used to be one tribe is going to tribe, but one tribe isn't. We can flash to the tribe that isn't and actually show shit. Now that there's 3 tribes, you're trying to flash to 2 different tribes, and we can't even focus because we're still worried about who's going to tribe. It's just too much altogether. But y'all,
and then also a big thing too to
yes.
really just piggyback on all of this trash talking we're doing.
Yeah, keep up. Because I was pretty top. Let's
go. This has also caused so many women to just be eliminated early as fuck for no reason. And me and Pharaoh was saying this off the podcast. Like, there are duds in every single cast of every show. You know what I mean?
Amen.
And there are women and men duds, but when you have tribes set up in this manner where they have to focus on tribe strength, a lot of women get shafted. So you have a dud that's a male that can still make it to merge, potentially go top 5, just because he looks like he can win a challenge for the team. And a lot of women who could have been successful players in this game are just going to get cut for being seemingly weaker. And with only 6 people, there's just no way to hide. That's why I really want us to go back to 2 tribes of 20. 2 tribes of 20. Ooh, we're not in Australia. 2 tribes of 10. because like it really just gives us more, I think, room. Some players to like
Everybody more
sneak
room.
by. Like there is no like the sneak by type of
Yeah,
character,
under the
like
radar
unless
or
they're
anything
just
like that.
winning, you know. So
I agree.
wait,
What?
because now I'm thinking about it, Erica, their tribe won a lot.
They won everything.
Marianne, their tribe won a lot.
Once
Remember? And
they tied. In Mary Ann season, it was a tie. It was
who have
four
the
four.
winners been so far? It's been Erica, Marianne, Gabler, and Yam Yam. That's
Mm-hmm.
interesting because both Gabler and Yam Yam tribes flopped
Yeah,
damn near
they did.
pre-merge, and
Yeah.
they ended up winning. So I wonder if that means something because the two women winners we have, their tribes
Mm-hmm.
kept dominating. The true
Yeah.
males we had so far, their tribes were really bad. So maybe in this new era with them only having 6 people, the women, if you want to be able to win, the initial tribe has to dominate, and it's like that's not fucking
Yeah.
fair. Like,
I
what if you
think
get
it
on
needs to be
a
like
shitty ass tribe? Which I'm looking at this cast. We'll get into that,
we
but
gonna see some. Yeah, I hate that shit. But
that's
last
crazy.
season it was
Like,
real bad. I remember last season 3 or 4 of the first draft picks that were women, they were all going home. And it was literally just because they were not physically fit and we need to win the comps. And it's like that's really just boring and that sucks and that's not interesting at all. But yeah, we're here, y'all. Survivor 45. If you're watching this and you're new, please subscribe. Thank you. Like the video,
thank
share
you.
it. Period. Get into it. Because we will be here all season. We will be going live every Wednesday after the episode of Survivor to recap the episode, and we do a little player rating. We're gonna switch it up this year though, because usually we rate the players, we give them numbers, but with Survivor, it's just edit based. So it's
Yeah.
really hard to do that, honestly. So this year we're gonna do a tier. We're gonna just tier them up. You at the top of the tier, you in the middle, you the bottom. Boom, just like that. You'll see it. So stay tuned. We will be getting into it every Wednesday. Thank you. Let's get into this motherfucking cast, though, bitch. I'm gonna pull up
I
the
said
cast.
what I said.
I said what I said. I'm gonna pull up the cast now, y'all. This is the cast divided into their tribes already. They have their names on here. So if you're a visual learner, go ahead and go to the motherfucking YouTube because we have it up on the motherfucking screen. Period. So these are the tribes. These are the names of the people in the tribes, and we can just go to we first of all overall.
Yes.
My first thoughts, and I tweeted this. I said, no offense to anybody, even this group of people. I said it looks like a bunch of nerds copy and paste it over and over again in different fonts. And it's not even nothing is wrong with being a nerd. My problem with it initially was the archetype of it all. I wanted a diverse set of archetypes. So my initial feeling was that I was like, why everybody got glasses? Everybody look geeky. We got 8, 9 geeks, and we usually only get 1, 2. And there's nothing wrong with them, but that's just how I was feeling. It was like, damn, this is the same archetype. But when you get into their interviews, it's not that bad at all.
Yeah. Not that
Boom.
bad at all.
It's
But
cute.
I feel like on like the initial tribes divisions, like I think the strongest tribe I'm seeing, there's three: Bello, Lulu, and Reba. I'm assuming that's how you say it. And I think Reba is gonna beast. They have Austin, D, Drew, J Maya, Julie, and Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a pretty strong tribe just based off initial reactions, especially compared to Lulu and Balo, because they have Austin and Nicholas. Nicholas owns a gym. Austin is very physically fit, just obviously looking at him, but he's also done sports. I think he was a junior Olympian. The
Mm-hmm.
man's a junior Olympian. Okay. So I think they're really gonna do good. And then I'm trying to look at like in comparison, like when you go to like Lulu, they and Bello, like none of their players are like that physically fit, like that person who's just a personal trainer or just someone who's just out here. I don't know, like even like a blue collar type job. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know. They didn't really even that out. I feel like based on tribe
Yeah.
strength necessarily, because it looks like they have the muscly people basically. Like to be
Mm-hmm.
frank, like I think the most buffest person with some muscles on any other type of tribe would be Bruce. Um, and that's about it. That's
Yeah.
really about it. So I think that Reba's gonna really be able to dominate. My favorite tribe though is Lulu. That gives us Brandon, Emily, Hannah, Caleb, Sabaya. What's it, Sabia?
So bye.
Sabaya, and Sean. I love this tribe. This is the first tribe. Um, that over at RHP they dropped the cast interviews what they released of the Lulu tribe, and I just love them. I think they have some of the best personalities on this cast. I think they have some of the best win equity, the best promise on this cast from what I've
Mhm.
seen. I think if they're able to all kind of like, maybe not lose some challenges or just get most of them to merge, like they could be some of the people potentially really running the game. And then you have Bello, which is Brando, Bruce, Jake, Katura, Kelly, and Kendra, which
Mhm.
honestly, compared to Lulu and Reba, just feels like a random assortment of people. I'm not gonna lie. I do feel like this is the tribe that could potentially flop the fuck out because I'm also
Mm.
looking at it right now where Reba has like the brawn. I think Lulu may have a little bit more brains than the Brandy and Emily because they
Yeah.
seem pretty smart. Sean himself is a high school elementary school's principal. So
Mhm.
I see a lot of maybe brainiac people on that tribe, and I don't know. I don't even think anyone in Bello fits that. Oh, Brando, he fits their archetype, but like
Mhm.
he's just him. So it's
Yeah.
just like I don't know. I don't know how much physical or mental strength that Bella will be able to provide off first impressions. Now, this could all change, but I think Bello may be effed a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like I do feel like it's Lulu does have a chance. I don't think Reba. I don't think Reba's just gonna beast because I'm not confident yet at their puzzle skills. And it a lot of times in Survivor, it do come down to a puzzle. I
Yeah,
think they might have Drew, but I think the
I
issue
don't know.
is,
J Maya and Drew. J Maya, she's smart too because she was gonna
yeah,
go to Harvard, but then chose to be a
mhm,
singer. So she a
that's
little
true.
smart something.
That's true. So I think they have potential, but I also could see them just not honestly just them not having
But
the
didn't
puzzles
Austin
or
say
even
he was
stumping
pretty
getting
smart
stumped up.
too, though? I think he mentioned being like,
Who? Austin or Seafood?
I think
I
he.
think there's. I don't think they're just dumb. I just think when it comes to a puzzle, it's just more than that. Um,
Oh
and
no, he kind of said he relates to like the nerds a little bit.
yeah, it's more than that when it comes to a puzzle. So I can see if they don't beat, they could beat, but if they don't, I think it'll be because of a puzzle or two. I can see Lulu Tribe coming clutch with a puzzle or two, basically. And that's why now Bello, I think they out of it, but I do think it could go maybe two Reba and then Lulu win one. I don't think it'll just be Reba winning every single one. Kind of how the Blue Tribe on Survivor 40, Erica's tribe did. They won every single one. They never win. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I do agree. I think Reba is gonna win the physical part of it a lot. It's just hopefully, really, Lulu needs to win like a puzzle, and Bello is gonna need to win a puzzle.
I want Lulu to dominate because, like I said,
Me
all of
too.
my
I love them.
faves, like I really enjoy that tribe as a whole. Like it would definitely go like a tribe rank: Lulu, Bello, then Reba.
Really, you don't like Reba that much? I
Not
think
really, not really.
I think Reba strategically they didn't seem the most impressive to me. Um, So yeah, I would have to say the same thing. Lulu, Bello, then Reba. Reba just don't got my faves, but I think we're gonna see a lot of Reba if they do win a lot of challenges.
Yeah,
And I think it'll be cute. I think what I like about Reba Tribe and just this cast is that in the last couple of seasons, we gotten a lot of people who are diehard super fans. Everyone's playing the game. Everyone's playing hard. You got to keep your eyes on everybody. You don't know who's gonna win. I kind of like that. I'll probably just be able to watch Reba and be like, these niggas not gonna win, but they're just a messy little tribe. I think I'm gonna enjoy that because then I can focus on some people who are actually winning. I remember thinking, damn, okay, Jesse, Carla, James, there's Cody there, and then also Cassidy's still here. It was so many people who is like an option to win.
mhm.
And that gets overwhelming sometimes, honestly, especially when the edit is trying to trick you. It's just a lot going on. So I'm actually okay with girl, y'all just be duds. It's 18 of y'all. We can have 4 duds and then 14 great players. How about that?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
I
cool.
think a trend I noticed throughout the cast interviews is that these are a lot of people who are not like super fans from like season one. These are a lot of people who like
Yeah.
COVID happened. I watched on Netflix. I recently binged. Like I'm a fan, as in like I love the show, but I'm they're still new to this. So that's really interesting, and I feel like when it came to like setting up for a draft, I was really struggling because I felt like we got a lot of personality, but I didn't really see how a lot of them could fit in a Survivor game. So that was a big disconnect. But of course, like with Survivor, like I would say Survivor way more than Big Brother. I don't really know how these people are gonna do until they get there out on the island, like at all. So that really doesn't mean much. it's really just winging it. Like the Survivor draft, like or like watching Survivor and seeing like who may win. It really is just winging it because it's like they don't really give you much, and then the edit itself. I mean, they really try to trick you in a lot of ways, which
They
is
do.
weird. But I feel like I am excited though. Like
Mhm.
I think overall, I like this cast on initial reactions more than the last two. But of course, let's just see how it plays out.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm actually really excited for this cast. I think I'm gonna like this season. I think the 90 minutes is gonna help. I think the cast being just a little bit different. I think this cast is a little bit different than the last two. I feel like the last two were kind of like very similar to each other, or even just this new era. It's been a lot of similarities within the cast, so where it's like I can't even remember who was on which season unless I think really hard. It used to be back in the day, this person was some millennials versus Gen X, and this wasn't this. And I think without the themes, it's like they're blending together, blending. But this cast is like it's pretty distinctive for me. Like there's some standouts, and I can already just distinguish them. I feel, but we can get into these motherfucking drafts right now.
Ciao.
Let's get into it.
I mean, and y'all pray for Pharaoh. Um,
Please,
he started doing better in the Big Brother draft, but that is slowly starting to go away already.
yeah.
So
I
pray,
thought I would
pray
do it,
for
but
him.
there's times where it's like Leo have one person, and then boom, we even. How that happen? That's what's happened on Big Brother. So it's like it's I might still be picking first every single season.
Oh God.
So I will be picking first this season. I'll just hop into it. So this first pick was actually difficult. There was two people who I really really wanted. Um, honestly, and
Please don't pick my pick.
I'm just gonna have to go with my heart,
Please don't do this.
my gut. And I do feel a little bit better about this person. My first pick is going to be
I
Sabaya.
really do not like you.
I
Oh,
love
I
Sabaya.
loved her so much. Ah,
Hmm
she's iconic.
I really love
And she
Sabaya.
gonna win this
So
damn game. Good lord.
yeah, so with Sabaya, we watched our interviews. Check out RHAP. They did interviews with them and they posted on their YouTube website, whatever. So I really love Sabaya because she initially came across as someone who I was like, oh, random dud. But then when you continue to hear her speak, she is truly an intellect. She starts
Yeah,
off and she's like, yeah, I was in the army. She was in the army, or was it the military? I never
the
understand which
Marine
is
Corps.
the Marine Corps. Thank you so much, because I
Cute,
never get that.
proud. The Marine.
The Marines. She was she was in the Marine Corps, and then she talked about how after she left the Marine Corps, she went to be a trucker. So for me, I was like, oh, okay, they got somebody with an interesting job, and that's it. But then, as she keeps getting asked more and more questions, she ends up saying something along the lines of, "I'm going to be looking for in an ally someone who's a beta." Someone who's literally just going to do whatever I say, basically, and listen to me. Someone who's intentionally looking for someone to lead them. And that piqued my interest because I was like, oh, I didn't even think you were thinking in that type of manner. She is a super fan of the game. She's actually been watching for a while. And she's talked about how some of her favorite players have strategic minds. One of her favorite non-winners was Sari. So stuff like that really made me think, okay, she's going to be a strategic person. She's looking for specific allies to do specific things for her game. And she's a super fan of the game. I was like, oh my God, she loves Tony. It just was a lot of unexpectedness. And I think that's really why I like her a lot. And also, she said that she feels like in the game, that's going to translate. People are not going to expect her to be strategic. People are not going to expect her to be smart, and she's going to be okay with that. And it's like, period. Love that. You can speak your thoughts because I can keep going. I have
Yeah, I
more.
think that she's a great first pick. Like, I really, really wanted her first. That's why it sucks that you keep losing because you honestly get great first picks. Like,
Yeah.
I think that she's so great and she has a lot of layers. Like, she's like this Southern belle. Like, she has this cute little Southern accent, and she
Yeah.
was even saying like, when people think of Southern people, they don't think that they're too bright. They're going to be able to be on a certain strategic level, and she is planning on playing into that to trick them. And then it's not even just listing Sari and Tony. It's like the way she described how they got to their win and how she plans on being a
Mhm.
trailblazer, in her words, a trailblazer, just like them. Like she wants to, hide and watch out for people. She wants to use her social connections to bring people in close to her. It's just like she clearly has a very specific just plan, but not in a like too planned out way. It's like a general like she clearly understands social dynamics basically, and I think that she's going to be someone that is very perceptive. She's going to understand the people who are around her, and I think that people are going to want to gravitate towards her and want to work with her. Like I see Sabaya running a tribe, running her
Yep.
tribe, running a merge, like, and eventually mothering and winning the game. Like I just think that she is going to be fun to watch, like this season. Like I'm really rooting for her down. And like she was talking, one of the big questions that Mike Bloom had asked them were like some of your perceptions of the people that you see on the early Ponderosa, like before they actually play preseason. And someone who got mentioned a lot was Caleb, which we'll get into
Mhm.
when we talk about him whenever he gets picked. But she mentioned how she liked him walking around. Like he seems like someone that's going to be very fun and making jokes, and she wants to work with people on that type of level. So they're on the same tribe together. That could be really good for her.
Mhm.
And I just think that when I'm looking at this tribe, I see Sean being attracted to her.
Yep.
I can see Brandon and Emily liking her as well. I think Emily, which we'll get into as well, she was one of the ones mentioning the girl in a
Purple
purple
jumpsuit.
jumpsuit girl.
Jumpsuit.
That's mother. So
Yep.
it's like I am really really excited for her. I think she's going to be able to really make great connections. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that stood out to me is when she mentioned Tony, she said that the reason she likes Tony win is because he won basically unapologetically. Like he put it on the floor. And she said, if I when I win, you're going to know I
Yes,
am the winner.
there's going to
And
be
I
no
really
question about it.
there's going to be no question about it. And I really like that because she was saying that, but also there was the duality of her saying, I'm intentionally going to not be someone people are looking at. So she's not saying that as in she's going to go in the game guns blazing. She's saying it as in, by the time I get to the end, you're going to know that I deserve to win. But she also has meticulousness about her. I love that. But yeah, on this tribe,
And I
she
feel like
mentioned
when she says that, she means that. Like, and
no.
that's why I
It
think
was it was a
when
it
she
was not a
speaks,
question. It
she
was a statement.
speaks with conviction. Like, and I
Yep.
really like. She just seems like someone who knows who she is. She knows her place, and she's gonna be able to clock everyone around her. Like, I really, really. And she was in the Marine Corps, so like.
Yep.
She is, first of all, she has patience. She is used to dealing with people. She's used to dealing with, aggressive people sometimes, being in aggressive environments, being in very hot and humid places. Like, I think that she has a lot of skills to eat this up. Like I'm excited. Like just talking about it. Like I'm really excited. That's a
Mhm.
great pick.
She mentioned Caleb liking him, and then she also mentioned Austin. She said the tall Asian guy with
Yes.
muscles. And Austin is someone who I think can make the merge. Austin is also someone who I think will fit her description because she said someone who is probably just going to be really loyal and
Mm,
able to do what I want. And I do think Austin could fall into that category. So
yes.
that's interesting if they both make merge to look out for. But Lee, let's get into your first pick.
My next pick is also going to be from the Lulu tribe. I'm going to
Ooh,
pick Brandon Donlin. I really like Brandon. Brandon is someone a lot of people in like the Survivor community and orgs they know Brandon. Like he is huge in that community. So he's a super fan, of course, because of
mhm,
that. And I really gravitate towards super fan and Survivor because I think you really, especially by season 45, you need to know how the game works. Like, and he's someone I feel like really understands the ins and outs. What made me want to pick him so early mainly was that a lot of people pointed him out as someone that they would like to work with or align with. Emily on this tribe, I think Caleb kind of mentions him down the line. I know people, like a few people on other tribes as well. Like, I think that they're going to want to work with him. And I don't think he comes off as threatening at all. And so, because he has this knowledge from being a fan for so long and being in the org and community, I think that if he just, don't overplay or kind of get too anxious, that he'll be fine. I think that's the one thing I did notice that made me slightly nervous. He did seem like, like an anxious person, basically. So I
Mhm.
don't know if when too much information comes at him, or potentially he's on the bottom, or if he's on the outside of things, how he'll do in that scenario. But I just feel like he can be someone that will socially be able to kind of blend in anywhere. I think that if a group gets formed on his tribe, like, he's definitely going to be in it. And Lulu, depending on competition ability, I don't know how far that's going to happen. We have to watch. But I think that he is someone that could find himself in a good position on the tribe. Like, he also had like really good ideas. Like, he mentioned like the Breakfast Club Alliance, which I think is really cute, because he wants an
Mhm.
alliance of people that kind of have all different archetypes. So of course, like, they can bring different things to it and stuff like that. Um, he was mentioning like people that he would want to work with. One of them on his tribe is Emily, because she was playing Pokemon. They're both kind of like, the nerd archetype. He also mentioned Caleb as a
Mhm.
winner pick. And this
Yep.
is where it gets really dangerous for Caleb. Because a lot of people seem like they noticed him, but it could also be the negative effect, because he's
Mhm.
saying like, I think Caleb can win this game. So, if I was doing a draft, I would pick Caleb.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't, who knows where that relationship is gonna go. But I'm excited to see him out there and play. I always love super fans like on this capacity playing at their favorite game. So, and I think that he's not gonna be someone that just kind of flops out. I think that he can make it pretty far.
I agree. I like Brandon a lot. I like that he's a super fan. He was my second pick. He was the person who I was wavering a little bit between him and Sabaya. I really did like a lot of what he said. A lot of people did gravitate towards him. The one thing that made me pick Sabaya over him is that he seems like he's going to become a threat. People already like him a lot. I feel like his presence is going to be big. He seems like a character. So I'm like, okay, it might be an eventual, he's going to be a target deeper in the game. But I really like this pick. He's a great first pick. I think he'll do really, really well, especially since he is a super, super fan. He also seems super self aware. Like
Mm-hmm.
he seemed pretty self aware. He seemed very understanding just of the game in general. I liked it a lot. And I don't know. I'm excited for him. I really am.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
also I think
It's well in this tribe
one
too.
of one of the good things that he was mentioning was just that he loves a player like a Mike White, a Cochran, a Penner, which I feel like these are not names that you really hear too often, which I feel like just shows me that clearly he really understands kind of like the ins and out of this game.
Hmm.
Because he specifically, when he mentioned David Wright, not David, yeah, Mike White, he was saying that he loves his social ability and how he can make connections while also being like a savvy strategic player. So like, if he's able to tap into that, because I do recall Mike being pretty good in that end game.
Yeah.
And if he's someone that can kind of last until then, that's where it gets really interesting. Especially, I think he kind of has the advantage in a season like this, where it's like a lot of people are saying they're recent fans, and he's this big, huge super fan. So, like, with all of these twists and turns that these new seasons have been bringing, I think that he could be a little bit just more prepared.
Yeah, I agree. Um, my next pick. Girl, we're not leaving the tribe yet. We're still on Lulu, y'all.
Who eats? I'm sorry, she's that girl.
Not she, but yes, she. My next pick is Caleb, actually. This
I
was
wanted Caleb too. I thought I could get him still.
this was a tricky decision because I think he's a super smart player. He's actually was he is he a super fan or did he become a super fan? Now that I think about
He
it.
is not. He's someone who like watched recently.
He became a super fan. That's what I thought. He seemed so aware of what Survivor is. Like he seemed very, very just smart about the game because he talked about how he watched it, he watched binge watched everything, and he wants to intentionally be this goofy guy. Kind of how people are describing him. People are literally describing him as charismatic, goofy. A lot of eyes are on him. He's going to be a winner threat, all of this stuff. And he says he knows that it's threatening, but he wants to use that in the game so that people can just see him as the golden retriever. And then he can be strategic about it and sneak up behind them and bite them. What I like is that he wants to be strategic, but wants to present himself differently. There's a lot of people in this cast who just say, You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be myself, or I'm just gonna be this, and there's not gonna be another layer. All the people with multiple layers are kind of the people I like picking first. Sabaya, she's presented this way, but she's actually gonna be strategic. He had the same thing. Brandon mentioned the same thing, and I really, really like that about him. Truly, he said because he's talking about his favorite character. I mean, his favorite players, and there
He
was some
mentioned Tyson.
Tyson. He mentioned Tyson, and Tyson, he said, is basically the winning game that he feels like would best represent him. And I love that because I feel like if you know how you can be presented, how you can win, then I really think you can win. And I do think that's probably going to be his path to the win is a Tyson kind of savviness. People think he's just a jokester, but he's actually more strategic. He said that he wants to do Jeremy's meat shield strategy. He knows he's going to be a big threat, so he wants to surround himself by other big threats so that way they can get targeted in front of him. I feel like every worry I have about him, he speaks about. And I like that. Like the worry is, oh, he's a big threat, or he could be a big character, but he speaks about how he wants other threats in front of him. He knows he could be a big threat, but maybe people want to use him. A lot of the things that it's worrisome, it just seems like he's super aware of, and I really, really like that. I do. He says he wants an ally who has some things that he doesn't. If there's people they can get along with that he can't, he wants them to be his ally, and I like that too. I like people who want someone who's, I guess, opposite. So I really, really liked him. Um, in this tribe, though, I'm kind of scared just because of what Brandon said. But Sabaya says she likes him, and I think Brandon didn't say I want to target him. Brandon, because the question was, is there people you're looking to target, or are there people you're looking to ally? He didn't put him in any category. He just said this is a winner person. But what I like about him being on this tribe is they need to win the challenges. And he's going to be probably the most beneficial in this tribe for the challenges. So if they are smart enough to be aware of that, they might be like, well, we just can't vote him out yet because we will literally all lose to Reba, probably. So that's my only like, okay, he has Sabaya who kind of likes him. Brandon didn't say he hates him, and he might be needed for the challenges. So I can see him slip into merge, and that's where I think he can kind of work his way more. He won't be such a big threat. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, definitely agree with everything you said. I think socially he's going to be able to kill it. Like when everyone mentions him as like their preseason person that they notice, like they're like mentioning how he looks in people's eyes. He's giving a lot of smiles, like, and like everyone damn near mentions him. So clearly he just has this presence, and I think that teeters a line though. I think that he could become too threatening. That no matter how he try, it could be an issue. And then also, I think that he's someone who loves the game now, but I'm not as just fully confident yet into like what his is he going to be able to enact the strategies that he kind of mentioned a little bit, because just for the most part it didn't fully seem like to just off initial basis that he was just like a real fan of the game. Like one of the things he mentioned was that like he really never knew how to do anything, and that he's someone that has had like multiple jobs, like, and been in multiple places because he just goes out there and he does it. So, and I hope that's not like what something I hope that does not go into his strategy, because he's not going to be able to necessarily just wing it out on the island, and that's my fear. Because if he does become a target because he's seen as someone that's too social or too many people like him, I think he could easily just get clipped. But as long as he kind of, because he's going to have to be someone like maintaining his threat level from day one. Like so many people have already mentioning his name as someone that they want to work with or potentially even target. So it's like, if that is something, a presence that he has without even talking to anybody, imagine when he actually out there playing. So he's just going to have to be consistently aware of diminishing his threat level. And it also kind of scared me. He kept mentioning villains. Because I'm like, Caleb, are you going to go out there and be a villain? Because no, not, especially not in New Era Survivor. There hasn't been like a really good like villain on Survivor in years. That's not really a thing anymore. Maybe he's bringing sexy back. I'll be here for that. But I'm in general just really excited to see him play. Like even if he doesn't know the game that well, I don't really know. But even if he doesn't, I feel like when he sells, like he basically says he's gonna learn it and still win it. Like, and I believe him. I really do. I think that he's gonna have some. He's gonna be able to go in there and really just have people gravitate towards him and want to work with him. But I just think, like I said, it will be really easy to want to target him as well. So hopefully he's just honestly always aware of that, because I do think that he's going to be someone that can be always listed as a target.
All right, Lee. Who's your next pick?
My next pick is going to be Austin.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
I like Austin. I picked Austin mainly because I think of his potential social ability in this game. Like he seems like someone that a lot of people is going to want to have on their side. Keeping up the tribes again. When I'm looking at the Reba tribe, like we mentioned, he looks like one of their better competitors potentially. And even if they lose, I think that's what he's going to be immediately perceived as. Like, look at, I mean, he got a body on him. The man looks good, okay, but I think that he is going to have to provide that level. He's gonna have to provide in physical challenges. So I think they're gonna want to keep him, and then he also kind of gives a golden retriever energy, which
Yeah.
is what he mentioned. He feels like he can be perceived in that way, and I think that's really good for him. I feel like, and this is kind of what I felt for Owen, who he compares himself to a lot. I just felt like there was a lot of potential there to really turn it around and at some point, move the game in his direction. I think that is what I'll be looking for on Austin because I feel like it could easily just be, a Jonathan in Survivor 42, where it's like he's
Mhm.
this big, strong guy that we're just kind of using to get to the end. And he never really fully has to say because someone is always leading him. I
Mhm.
just hope that he doesn't be in this follower spot and stay in it. But I think he just said a lot of really good things. Like he mentioned how he used to be very reserved and now he's an open and bubbly person. He can relate to several people. He was a junior Olympian. I just feel like a lot of what he said, especially in comparison to his tribe, was really good. And I just don't see him being someone targeted, really. I don't really see people being like he has to go. Now it could be like a Joe Anglim situation. He gets demerged and he starts winning everything. That will be an issue. And from the information he provided, I don't know if he does become a target, what he does in that spot. But I'm kind of just sensing someone who could be in majority for most of the time and hopefully start making some moves that will get on his resume for him to get the win.
Yeah, I like this is okay. I had him in the middle of my list honestly because I felt like he was definitely making jury merge, but I was not sure that Austin could really ever like win. He kept mentioning things that made me think you're not really a fan, are you? He kind of says he watches with his mom. When he was asked about his winner pick, he mentioned Jay, I think, as a winner,
He said
and
Jay, and then he also said Wendell.
he
So I
said
don't know.
Wendell and Jay, but I was like Wendell and Jay as your winner pick.
But who is Jay? I don't even know there's a Jay.
He was talking about Jay, Michelle, and Jay and Michelle. That's why that's the only Jay I know of Survivor. That's why I'm like, who else is he
Jay
talking
and
about?
Michelle. Oh, from Millennials and Gen X?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I hope he
No.
doesn't think he won. He because Jay almost won that season, kinda. But I was like, who are you talking about? But he said Wendell and Jay. I'm like, okay, he might not know
But
that
no, but
well.
that's the thing he said. When the question was what winner and non-winner
The
you relate
non-winner
to,
he answered was Owen, and
Owen.
then when he
Winner
said
he says
Owen,
Jay
Mike.
and Wendell, but Jay
When
didn't
he said
win. Oh,
Owen,
so
Mike.
you think him saying Jay means he didn't watch because why are you saying Jay?
Yes, because he said winner and non-winner. He said for the non-winner, I think Owen Knight, and then Mike Bloom said, okay, what about winners? And he said, it took him a while, and he said, I think Jay or Wendell for the winner. He literally said for the winner. So I'm like, oh, he thinks Jay might have won, or I don't know. It was weird. But
Mm-hmm.
also, his whenever he talked about old seasons, he kept mentioning like fun moments, and I liked Ozzy because Ozzy was a War Ozzy. They had a lot of fun moments, and when I think of people who like War Ozzy, I just think of that archetype, the Ozzy archetype, the Jay archetype, the Wu archetype. He mentioned all three of them, I believe. And if that's the case, I think that's what he's going to give. So that's why the only reason I was like, oh, okay, he's all right. But I do think he's going to make it deep in the game. And I do think he's a little bit, or he mentioned things that makes me think he could be smart. He like talks about how he understands he's going to be perceived this way. And he knows that he's going to need protection from like with idols later in the game, but not
Yeah.
early in the game. So I think he has a little bit of awareness. But we'll have to see. I do like the pick though.
One of the things he was saying is that he seems like Brandon on Lulu would be someone that he really likes, and that he seems like he is not gonna want to work with Caleb. Every time he mentions like Caleb, it's like he's someone that is being a little shifty. He's looking at
Mhm.
everyone, So that could be
Red
interesting
flag.
in the
She said
merge
red
situation
flag.
because a red flag. So I could definitely see both Caleb and Austin in a merge scenario, and that
Yep.
could be tea.
And
That could
that
be
coming to
tea.
fruition. All right. My next pick is okay. I'm gonna do it. It's Kelly.
Why
We're
the
finally getting
fuck
to
are you picking all of my people? And see, this is the problem because
what?
y'all gonna be like, Lee is not picking any women, but then he takes all of my
Y'all pick
top women
Caleb.
picks.
That's a man.
But I'm just saying, you take all of my top women picks, like
You could have picked
literally.
the woman. You picked two men. This is what you do every time. You do the same
I
shit.
would have picked Sabaya first,
Damn. Well,
and I
Kelly.
was literally coming for Kelly next. So it's
I
like,
liked
what
Kelly,
the fuck?
and especially with her tribe, I felt like first of all, in general, I did feel like Kelly was someone who I just liked a lot. She's someone who's newer to Survivor. She watched during the pandemic, but she seems super aware. She talked about a lot of how her profession, she's a nurse, people are going to perceive her as friendly and nice and non-threatening, but honestly, she's probably going to be a threat. She talks about how you need to be perceived this certain way, but you need to be a little bit more scrappy. She mentioned that she's going to be lying in the game. And Mike Bloom was like, "Oh, you think you're just going to lie?" And she's like, "No, no, no, no. I'm never going to lie if it's not necessary. But if it's necessary, then I'm going to lie." And I like that thinking. I feel like people need to measure when to lie and when not. And she was very like understanding of just, I guess, how to play the game. She did say that when it comes to women in this new era, it's been really bad for them. She would prefer to work with women, but she can work with men if she needs to. I like that. I think a lot of people go black or white. I want a women's alliance or I don't. She kind of was in the middle. She was like, I would prefer it, but it's okay if not. But she also just seems aware that that's a problem. She knows that women could get targeted, and her knowing that could really just help her navigate the pre merge. And her tribe, if they lose, I think she's one of the more smarter players on her tribe who could kind of wiggle her way around and not get taken out. So I really, really like that. She mentioned liking Bruce, who is on her tribe, so that's good. Who else did she say? I feel like there was one more person. Oh, she kind of kept it vague with everybody else. She kind of kept it vague.
Yeah.
But I think I like her. I like her awareness. I like how she feels about the game. Boom.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like my only fears about her is that she did see like when she started mentioning like women don't have to play under the radar. She doesn't want to play under the radar when she was comparing herself to Kelly Wentworth and how scrappy she was, like the iconic idol usage in Second Chances, which we all gagged.
Yeah.
So I really love that because I think that I could see her being a Kelly Wentworth. I really can see that for her, but famously Kelly Wentworth ain't win, child.
Yeah.
So
She
I'm
mentioned
gonna need you
Parvati
to tap
too.
into
Parvati
her.
was her winner.
She did mention Barbie. She did mention Barbie
And
as a winner.
Parvati has a charm, but also a ruthlessness that she thinks she has.
Exactly.
She wants to bring that into the game. And
Which
I
I could really see, but I kind of see potentially
mm-hmm.
a Sarah pass a little bit.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. I feel like this the presence she kind of just gives off. I feel like if she keeps a steady mind, because Sarah, she was under the radar, but she was still dominating, I think, the strategic and social game. Like she was at the head of her alliances, and I think Kelly could be in that spot. Hopefully she just does not become someone that is too targeted. Because looking at her tribe, right, Ruben Bello, she says she wants to work with all women. Like and we'll get into like Jake. He mentioned not liking Kendra because he feels like Kendra may want to get all the women out. If Kelly and Kendra link up and they get to Katura, who really knows what happens? I mean, does do they go to rocks? Do someone flip? If she becomes a target, she could go very easily and very quickly. And I really just hope that she's the type of player that we like talk about when like these women they go home early and they don't get a chance to play. Like I feel like Kelly could be someone. Hopefully not. Knock on motherfucking wood.
Yeah,
well, it already happened. This shit is recorded. Whatever. But I think she could potentially be someone that could go home in the pre-merge, and we never see her again. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, this is gonna be the Survivor legend. So I'm just hoping that she can kind of get past this 6-person tribe area and really get her footing and take over the game. Like I really see a path for her, but like I said, I think really similar to Caleb in a way. I think that she gives a presence that I think could become very
threatening.
just threatening. and that made me question.
I agree.
And I don't
Fun
know if
fact.
she'll be able to like bring that down a little bit because she seemed like someone that like she literally said like I will go out with a bang, baby.
She did
Like
say that.
it's not giving. I'm gonna be just sitting here, okay?
Yeah.
And honestly, that may still be fun because an active player. I mean, whether you're making good or bad decisions, if you're active, you could really get somewhere. So I think she's gonna be fun on the island.
Yeah. Fun fact about this tribe: Kelly is a lesbian, and Katura mentions that she is queer. She's a queer black woman.
Girl, it's given the
So,
girls are gonna link up for real.
so that's a connection that could really.
Katura, Kelly, and Kendra. Wait,
That would be it. Oh, if it's the K, like,
not KKK.
if
Wait,
it's the Queen K's,
the triple K. Wait, that still sound bad.
the Queen K's.
The Queen K.
Period.
Hold
That
on,
would
Kelly,
be
Kendra, and Katura.
that would be
That
really
could be
nice.
nasty.
But Kelly and Katura could have a connection
But
already.
and that's the
because of
thing. That's what's interesting because
Bye, Bruce.
Bruce mentions in another one of his interviews how he sees a lot of strong women here, and he knows women have been going out early, so he could see how the women may want to team up and
Mhm.
some men go home. But he said he's gonna make sure that doesn't happen because, of course, he doesn't want to see a man. He don't want to be a man that goes home.
Yeah,
And
he's a man.
so that could be some tea, especially if
But-
I'm thinking this may be a tribe that loses. So if they lose, let's say they flop out early on the tribe, what happens? Could it be like what was it? The yellow tribe in 41? It was Xander, Tiffany,
Luvu.
Luvu. Like they stuck with the women. They was like, we're gonna stick with loyalty. Evie was like, we're gonna stick with loyalty. I'm gonna keep the women. We're gonna keep moving forward. I can see them doing that, but I mean, I would love if they could make it to merge.
We could do some analyzing. A lot of these people said they would not want to go on the journey. Bruce said he would. If they do a journey, which they will.
No vote.
Bruce Goes doesn't have a vote. I think we can already predict if we predicting a lot with this tribe. It could become genders, and if it does, Bruce could be the one who loses his vote. And if he does, baby, the girls is gonna win. Let's pray.
But that's where it gets scary though, and because that's what I think. Hopefully, let's say that could happen. But then I was also going to say because at first I was like Brando on this tribe as his nickname. I was like, he don't really vibe. I don't really know if he could really vibe well with Jake. But he also mentioned like he wants Bruce to be like his survivor uncle. Like didn't he say he reminds him of his uncle? So it's like this really could be split down. Bello is giving gender split. It really is.
It really could be. Oh, that would be nice and nasty. Oh, that would be nice and nasty. We're gonna see. This is gonna be interesting. I think they're gonna go to tribal a lot too. So let's see. All right, Lee. Who next, girl?
Child.
You're not gonna pick my next one.
I'm gonna go with Sean Edwards.
Who? Oh, okay. No, I'm not even trying to be shady. I genuinely was like, who the fuck is that? Boom. Okay. You are picking my people who are at the bottom. I'm not gonna lie. I'm bottom middle.
Ooh, usually you do that for me. Child, could be a bad sign, but who knows? I really, really like Sean. He's an elementary school principal. He just seems like really, really sociable. I think he mentioned that he literally went to school and got his degree and what was it? Social communications.
Social communications.
Yeah. He finished a doctorate degree at the University of Utah.
Dr. Edwards, bitch.
Of human connection. So
Edwards.
Yeah, of human connection. So I think he is used to making connections with people, being social. I mean, he's a school principal, so he got to deal with kids. He got to deal with, complaining as mamas and parents. So I think that he is definitely someone that has to deal with a lot of different personalities on a continuous basis. And I just feel like listening to him speak, I feel like he's someone that really understands himself, his place in life. I really, really enjoy his story, and I feel like he is going to be someone that's an active social player. I'm also feeling like just on his tribe in general, like I can see a connection with a Sabia, a connection with a Hannah, Emily. I think that a lot of people would want to potentially work with him. Now, I don't know what the competition ability is given. That slightly scares me. If they lose and they're looking at tribe strength, he is a little bit smaller. I don't know if that's going to affect him, but if it does not, I can see him someone being just a threat, honestly. Like in the interview, he was compared to they were comparing him to Todd a little bit because Todd is also Mormon, gay, and from Utah. And Sean is all of those things as well. And Todd, if you don't know his game is about China, like he is really
Learning
iconic. Like that was some iconic gameplay, very impressive. And I honestly could see like Sean giving that just a little bit. He seems like he knows the game. He said he's been a super fan for a while.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I don't know. I feel like he could really go somewhere. Or based on his social ability.
Yeah, I don't hate the pick. I agree. I do think he can be social, and I do think he has options. My biggest fear was just the compatibility, honestly. I just feel like he's kind of, to me at least, he could potentially be like the clear problem when it comes to comps for this tribe. And if it feels that way out there, then it could just get really bad for him. But other than that, I do think he could get connections. And if he makes merge, he can do really, really well and he can get a good deep run. I do see like the Todd comparisons. I think that because he's a super fan and he's watched so much, that he actually will be able to be strategic and kind of maneuver. And I like that. I feel like his archetype, I guess, that they've gotten in these past couple of seasons. What was that boy name? Like Geo. Someone was comparing him to Geo. I don't remember who it was.
Caleb.
Oh, it was Caleb. Literally, Caleb is stupid as fuck. Why he do that? But Caleb was comparing him to Geo, and I feel like it's just not giving that for me. I feel like Sean is actually someone who I feel like could be a contender, and I really, really like that. So I'm interested. I'm interested. My next pick will be. Who will it be? Who will I be? Yes, I believe. Hold on. Let me look at these pictures. Damn, it's getting a little hard, y'all. I'm gonna do it. This don't even make sense. I'm not gonna do that. Yes, I am. Damn, am I? Yep. I'm picking Jake. Oh, I don't even like it. Oh, I don't even like it. I don't even like it. I'm picking Jake. I'm picking Jake because I felt like he was personable esque. I feel like he is going to be able to be a social person. I feel like he's going to be able to kind of branch out a little bit. I like that he is an actual fan. He was able to recount actual things throughout the seasons. He's actually like a super fan, not like someone who started in the pandemic. So I did like that a lot. One of his favorite players was Dominic. He said that Dominic was his favorite non-winner. He's someone who he feels like he can relate to. He might play similarly to him. He also mentioned Jeremy. And when he was talking about some of his favorite moments, he mentioned like the idol play by Tony. So it was a lot of strategic things. I think his personality to me is like, it seems like he could just be, it's interesting because he's not alpha male. He literally consistently says, I did Broadway, I do theater. That's literally not who I am. But I think his energy kind of gives that. But I'm hoping that when he gets in the tribe, and this is kind of what he's hoping too, when he gets in the tribe and people talk to him, they're going to know, no, babe, I don't know about this shit. I know about Broadway. I know about theater. I do this. So he kind of has layers to him. And I think that that's going to make him personable. I can see him talking to people in his tribe. And when he starts talking, them feeling like, oh, okay, I can relate to him on way more things than I thought I could. He didn't like Kendra on this tribe.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things I noticed.
So he already coming in with beef. He says he thinks everyone's kind of looking to work with Bruce, which they are. I feel like he's gonna want to work with Bruce. So I don't know. I think it's he's a pick. I picked him. I did.
Yeah.
Bitch, I said what I said.
Yeah, he was middle of the road for me. I think I see what you're saying. He seems like someone that's going to be able to connect with a lot of people. Because when I first saw his picture, I did immediately thought he's going to be like an alpha bro potentially. But hearing that he was in theater, he just seems like someone. Clearly, he has a lot of layers to him, and I feel like he could be able to provide that to the tribe. I mean, to the cast. But in general, like when I'm looking at this tribe, I just think like, going based off the tribe specifically, I don't know how he's going to do, like if he can get to a merge, because I mean, like I said, I feel like this is such a random assortment, and the main connections, like we just clocked, are the 3Ks. So I don't really know where he's going to fit in that regards, and if this tribe will even be able to win competitions. I really don't know where he goes from here.
He's a lawyer though.
He's a Natani. He's an attorney. There's
A
3
tiny
attorneys.
lot.
Him and Katura are both lawyers. So
Yeah,
she's a civil
that's
rights lawyer.
true.
He's an
Which
attorney.
they
And
probably won't
then
know.
freaking Julie on Reba, she's a estate attorney. So girl,
They got lawyers, lawyers on lawyers on lawyers. I know
lawyers
that
on
one.
lawyers on lawyers. So it'll just be interesting to see where he goes. I really don't have
Yeah,
many thoughts.
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I couldn't even really explain much. Who's your next pick? Period.
So my next picky honor, y'all gonna drag me. I know y'all is, but
What?
it's whatever.
What you gonna do?
I ain't gonna drag him because it's not a girl. It's Bruce.
Damn! No, Lee, you're just out of hand.
At this point, it's like I said, I wanted Kelly. To be fair, I wanted Kelly and Sabaya.
Okay.
Right after Austin. No. I wanted Sabaya first, and I wanted Kelly after Austin.
Yeah. Okay.
So I look.
It was just
Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I love women. I do, but I will just be completely frank.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the duds I saw, it was given to women. And like I said, and this is why I said like the dud males I saw, because there are a few of both in both gender, but it's like the dud males, it's like everyone's gonna care about tribe strength. So I feel like that will help them in more in the long run than some of the women who I feel like may not be able to perform as well in the challenges. But I mean, we'll see. I could be wrong, hopefully, because if all the women go home again, I'm gonna be pissed the fuck off. But Bruce, I picked Bruce mainly because everyone has talked about really wanting to work with him. When it comes to game, Bruce, I don't know how the fuck he's gonna do. I really don't. I don't know if he's gonna be someone who's strategic. I don't know if he's gonna be someone that's successfully social. However, a lot of people recognize him from last season. They love his story, because Bruce, he had he got hit in the head like right in the intro of the premiere last year. So everyone, that was a big moment because he got taken out before the game even started. So it's like I think a lot of people like feel for him in that moment, and they kind of want him. They want to see him have the second chance. And Bruce himself, he just seems like someone that I think people are going to want to gravitate to. They're going to want to pull in and work with. He seems like level-headed. Really, I don't think he's going to be making any decisions that are going to get him targeted in front of other people, especially, he has this, for lack of a better word, sympathy from what happened in the last season, that a lot of people are not going to want to look at him as someone they want to see go home. They want to see him play this game again. And I feel like his energy just feels different. It seems like he really wants to come here and make the most of this experience because he almost didn't have it. And not everyone gets a second chance to play Survivor after getting medically evacuated. A lot of people get medically evacuated and they never to be seen for again. So the fact that it just happened in his premiere season and he got brought back immediately the next season is pretty huge. I really hope he just makes the most of the experience, but I don't really know. Like I said, I don't really know what we're gonna get from Bruce in the game. I remember last season, he gave me casual fan where he watched with his family, of course, but I don't really get the sense of what he's gonna do strategically necessarily, and he doesn't really need that. He can win based off those connections. People have done that several times, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I like Bruce a lot more this preseason than I did last season. It just seems like last season he didn't seem like he would be able to connect with people. It seemed like he was gonna be doing not enough. But this season he just seems willing. Like you said, a totally different energy. He's kind of like, I'm gonna actually play. And the thing about Survivor, you got to be active. I didn't think he was gonna be active last time. This time I do. I think he's gonna be active. I think he's gonna play. He's gonna make the most of his situation. He's like, I'm volunteering for the journey. I'm doing this. Whatever I need to do, I'm gonna do. So I like that energy a lot, and a lot of people are gravitating towards him preseason, and I think they'll gravitate towards him in the island. And he does seem personable. And even on that first episode, I felt like even with just the small interactions, people seem to like him just naturally. His energy, it's still about energy, and people like his energy in Ponderosa, and I think they're gonna like his energy on the island still. And he seems like he can talk to people. My issue is still like he just doesn't seem too strategic, kind of what you said. He mentioned like, I'm going to ask people questions, and I'm going to ask them an open-ended question. I'm going to ask you, what time is it first? And I'm going to ask you, what color is that second? And then when you tell me the color, then I'm going to take your third answer because your first two answers not going to be the answer. And that just sounds like somebody who not.
Well, no, he was trying to say in that moment, like he would ask those questions. Those are examples of closed-ended questions. and he's gonna try to ask open-ended questions. But he didn't give
Yeah,
an example of the open-ended questions. So I'm
and
like,
though and that whole statement for me just gave what are you talking about? Not what are you talking about, but yeah, like I feel like let me just say him saying he's going to ask open-ended questions when talking about his survivor strategy for me it's like that's where your mind is at, like that's the level you at. So that's why I'm like strategically I don't know if it's gonna give, but I don't think it's that bad of a pick. I think he can really do good this season for sure, and I'm actually excited to see him play. He really seems like he's gonna play hard, and I love that. And that's why I like Survivor. Like people play hard regardless. To be honest, I'm gonna pick J Maya. One of
period.
my main reason is I think she's the best player potentially on her tribe. But let me pull up her tribe because that's literally my main reason. Um, this is J Maya's tribe, the Reba tribe. None of them gave strategic but her. They actually, or Drew kind of did, but for me, I didn't see Drew. I don't see Drew having necessarily the potential to be socially with this tribe, with this specific tribe. Because in this tribe, we have D. I mean, I think J Maya and D can really link up really nicely, and I feel like that's going to be one of the like first couple of connections. And I feel like if J Maya can be strategic enough, savvy enough to get like an Austin or to get somebody else in just the majority, then she can be able to take it. She does say that she wants to play similarly to like Marianne. She feels like leveraging her perception is going to be the best thing for her. She's going to be perceived as weak, so she wants to leverage that in a way where she can use that to her advantage. She's also a recent fan, I think. I think she's also a recent fan, but it seems like she understands the game a little bit better. And yeah, she said she got back into it because she got into Harvard, but instead of going into Harvard, she went into music. And it's like, okay, girl, you ate that up. Period. I googled her, YouTube her, J Maya. She got music or whatever. But I don't know. I like her thoughts strategically, and I feel like in this tribe, she can pick it up and go with it. I don't see the strategist here, but her. So that's how I'm feeling. Period.
Yeah, I see that, and then I know I love how she mentioned like she really wants the women to kind of come together on this. So she could also kind of do like a all women link up and kind of see where that goes. I'm really interested because like I've kind of written off Reba in my mind, so Travis gonna just win, and we're gonna see all of these people. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they gotta go to a tribe because a tribal because like when I say like does I really meant this entire cast, this entire tribe.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I
Mm-hmm.
try. Like, I'm really honestly except J Maya. I'm not gonna lie. It
You know
felt.
what?
I just
Sorry.
didn't know kind of where a lot of players on this tribe would really have their place in the game. It seemed like a few players on this tribe could end up being someone that could just be an add-on to an alliance, or just someone that could just be, told what to do potentially. I don't think J
Mm-hmm.
Maya fits in that box. But could that potentially be an issue? I don't really know. She's one of those players like I don't really know where she kind of goes in this game. I feel like her archetype really is not something that we see often play on Survivor, which is what she kind of mentioned as well, like being here for the representation of it all. So I'm definitely excited to see how she does.
I agree. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts.
Yeah.
Period. Who's next? Another man, y'all. Let's
Oh
see.
my god, it actually is. Unfortunately,
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna pick Brando.
Okay, that was that was my yeah. I ain't gonna play you.
I
Okay.
think Brando is a sleeper hit. I do. I think that he is someone that a lot of people are going to underestimate. When I'm thinking of his tribe, Bello, Katura is someone who mentioned like wanting to work with people who kind of have quieter personalities and are a little bit more reserved. And I think he definitely gives that. And he also seems like someone that is going to be able to kind of give off that Carson vibe a little bit of like someone I think that like that younger brother,
Your
younger sister
brother
who
and
want to kind of like protect almost. I think that he could kind of occupy that spot and people cannot see him coming, he could also just become someone that does nothing. That is also a very obvious
that's
possibility.
honest. That's a
But
good
he
point.
he gives me someone that he definitely understands the game. Like he's a fan. He mentioned being like a potential love child of Yule and Cochran. Mainly I think for the representation, but it also just shows kind of where his head at is like how he sees his game to be. I think that those are both pretty analytical, yet social players who were able to maneuver their way through using both of those things to win. And I feel like what he's gonna need to do is because I think he can easily fall into that position of someone. We're just gonna use Brando. Like Brando's gonna be down for the ride. He's gonna be down with the vote. So he's definitely gonna need that moment. Like I think that Marianne moment. That's like, okay, this is what sets me apart from someone who actually deserves the win because he looks really, really young. He's not actually that young. Oh, how old is he actually?
24.
23. So he
22.
looks
22.
22. So yeah, and he looks like 12. No shade.
12 people.
So it's like I think that helps him in a lot of ways, but it also can start to hurt him towards later down the line if he hasn't been able to make any big resume moves or really just any moves in general. It depends. He mentioned wanting to work with Bruce, which is really good for Bruce. I mean, everybody does, so I don't really know where that goes.
Good for Bruce.
He also mentions like liking Caleb. He was like, when he looked at me, he looked like someone that like I can really trust. But if he's doing that with other people, I don't know where that really goes. I just feel like in general on this tribe, unless he's seen as someone that's too weak, that if they put him on a puzzle, which he looks like he probably will be put on a puzzle, and he doesn't do good, he could just go. It could be a nasty old Zach Wurtenberger, and he out. But if he is someone that can hold his own, I can see him, snaggling his way to emerge.
Yeah, I felt middle of the road with him because of kind of what you were saying at the end about how he would need to do something, and he gave me he's not gonna do that move that he needs to do to actually get that win, to snag that win. And part of me seemed like he like was self-aware but limited. It seemed like there was like a glass that he needs to break out of so where he can really come into himself, because all of his kind of statements were like a little surface level to me, at least. Maybe it was the interview, maybe he was nervous, but when he was describing himself, he kind of consistently just said, Cochran, I'm smart and half white and then Yule because I'm half Asian. And I'm like, okay, girl. But I just feel like it just was a limit for me. I'm like, what else? I kind of was waiting, what else? What else? What else? What can you bring? What can you do? What can you give? And in the interviews, I just didn't really get that yet. He did say he's someone who practices puzzles. He said he's someone who is a super fan. He does know about these greats and the Cochran win and the Yule win, and I do like that. But emulating it, I'm just like, I don't see that he can. It kind of just seems like he's saying it a little bit. So that's why for me, I'm like, I don't know. I felt middle of the roadie, but I do think he has a potential to do it, but also a potential to just be a dud and not do it. That's kind of how I felt about him, in the middle. My next pick is going to be Hannah. It is. I actually did like.
What's so hilarious is that you was like, well, we kind of discussed like the reason why you probably don't win as much is because you kind of go more of the women dominant players, and I go for like the more male dominant players, and you don't fight for any of the male dominant players.
I don't think there are male dominant. Like no, but that's the thing. This time I did. I thought Brandon, but I couldn't pick Brandon. I would have had Brandon and Caleb and Jake. Those were my big three, and I got two of them. So that's how I'm at.
Well, it's just funny because you still.
I know I still have more women, but it's because you literally chose 5 men in a row. What am I gonna do?
I chose 5 men in a row, but it's like I just feel like
something. And I chose Caleb second, and Jake fourth. I literally went girl.
But Jake, I wouldn't put in like.
And I wouldn't put Austin. And I would not put Austin in dominant male. I would have put Brandon. And I wanted to pick Brandon, but you picked him first. Period. But
Hannah, though. I'm kind of shocked at Hannah.
I like Hannah. I felt like she was really, really self-aware. And that was my main thing. She was still middle of the road for me. I wasn't high on her, but I wasn't low on her because of how I just think self-aware she was. She is a psychiatrist. She compared herself to like Kelly Wentworth, maybe Aubrey Bracco. She feels like she's their love child. That shows me she's a fan, or at least she understands who she can fit, what category she can fit in, and I feel like she could fit in that thing. She said she wants to be strategic, but not loudly strategic. So she wants to be someone else is taking control of the tribe, but I'm working with them. Or someone else is taking the charge, but I'm working with them. And I really like that she said that. It makes me feel like she understands, especially this new era. That's where you got to be. You can't be the head. You need to be, I'm smart and I'm working things, but underground. And that's how she says it. And she also mentioned she wants to be authentic, but she wants to still lie. Usually, people like her, I feel like the downside of her archetype is usually they don't lie. They can't lie, they don't want to. But she says she wants to be real, but she still wants to lie and play the game. So for me, I'm like, okay, I think she's in the middle of the road type of pick. I picked her in the middle of the road. I don't know. I like her, and I think she's like she could be a sleeper. That's the person I feel like who could be a sleeper. Oh my heart. Boom. Those are my thoughts.
I just like I definitely I don't know because when she was mentioning like Aubrey Bracco as someone who that she could relate to, she said Aubrey and Kelly Wentworth. It just
Mhm.
felt like I don't know. I really didn't see her as an under the radar player as Aubrey, and I didn't really see her as kind of like the scrappy out there player as Kelly Wentworth. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's true.
what archetype that she's gonna fall into until she really gets on the island from the original perceptions. But like, I didn't really see her. I didn't see the comparison from the little interview that we got. So and that's what kind of like I really didn't have her that high because I feel like I personally just did not get much about how she's gonna potentially play the
Hmm.
game. It did feel like a lot of her answers were just, in my opinion, a little bit so and she
Yeah.
didn't give as much detail as a lot of other people is how I felt. But I
Okay.
did like her personality a lot. She mentioned wanting to work with Brandon. She said he's her island best friend and he doesn't even know it yet. So that could be really interesting. See where that goes. And her story is really fun as well. Like fun. Her story is really powerful too, because she mentioned getting sober at the age of 20 from alcoholism. So clearly she's been through some things.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be really interesting to see where she kind of goes. I don't think she's gonna be someone that can't get along. Like if I think that someone's gonna be an outcast from Lulu, I would think Emily over Hannah, but I don't know because I just think like Brandon, Caleb, and Sabaya, there's these three big personalities who I think are,
Mhm.
off first impressions are all three gonna just make it to emerge if this tribe can, stay together for that long. I don't know where the Hannah Shawns and Emily's fall.
Mhm.
And that kind of what scares me because she is someone who I think could easily make it to emerge on like a bigger tribe, but because this is six people, I don't know. It kind of
Yeah.
scares me a bit. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah. I see that too. All right. Who you
Child.
got?
Am I finally picking a girl? Should I just go out some more men? Nah.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go with Katura.
Okay.
I really really
Finally.
like Katura.
Person.
I liked her interview a lot. The only reason why it wasn't that much higher is because some of the things, and I feel like that's kind of with everyone who's left. Just personally watching them, I didn't get how this personality is going to work on the island because she
I see
also
that.
mentioned like she's more of a recent fan of Survivor, so she really I don't she's not someone that has been watching for years on years on years and um really is just obsessed with the ins and out of the game, which kind of scares me a little bit because I don't really know. I don't like I said, I really just don't know where she goes. Like I don't really have many thoughts past that because a lot of things she spoke about. Of course, she's a civil rights lawyer, um, and that makes me feel like, of course, she is intellectual on a certain type of level, but she really just didn't mention much about the game itself. I felt on a level that made me feel like she's gonna be someone that can win, but this is of course not even episode one. So I don't really know. But when we get kind of down to these people, my thoughts are very
Limited.
minuscule.
Yeah.
So I really liked her personality. I'm excited to see how she plays. When it comes to her tribe, you mentioned like, of course, the Kelly connection is potentially there because they're both queer. Kelly wants an all-girl alliance that could be really good for her. I love how she mentioned like, she's always in survival as a black queer woman. I think black queer people in general, like we always have to like be aware of, people they literally may just hate you
Yeah.
by your sexuality,
She literally
by
said
how you
that.
look, and with
Basically.
her being a woman, like it's 10 times as that. So I think that that just initial street smarts on its own will be really good for her. But I just like I said, I don't know where she fits at, like where she goes. But one of the big things she did mention though was that she wants a public alliance and a secret alliance. And when she was mentioning the secret alliance, that's what she brought up, wanting to have people that are reserved and a little bit more quiet for her secret alliance. So if
Mhm.
she's thinking on that level, I think there is a lot of promise, but I just have to see it.
Yeah, I had her like same area, kind of low middle of the road. I did like a lot of the things she said, but she's like a newer fan, and some of the things seemed like, how can you actually kind of what you said? How are they going to be on the actual island? That's kind of how I felt about her. She also mentioned she said eventually I know I'm going to be a target because I just cannot hold back. And she mentioned like I'm just gonna have to have an advantage because eventually I'm gonna be a target. Like I know that I'm gonna be a target. Like I'm gonna be that girl. And it's like I think she's gonna not gonna know how to preserve her threat level. If she is able to play a math like a good game, I think she could just end up being a threat and playing a good game, and then that's gonna end up fucking her up a little bit. So that's another worry I had. I was like, ooh.
Now, what I
But
really need, I need her and Sabia to both make merge. Sabaya
that's
to
what we need.
merge because that would be nasty.
That's what we need.
If they link up, that could really shake the motherfucking table.
Period. Wake it up. Boom. Okay. Next, y'all, we're down to the people who I don't even care about, honestly. Um,
I do not care about.
yeah, like these are just people I don't necessarily think will do well. I am gonna
I feel like
pick.
I just don't know though. Like I wouldn't want to say that.
Yeah, you never really know with Survivor. That's the thing. You never really know. These interviews don't do much. Who is this person? Oh, she's still here. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Emily. I'll pick Emily. Um, like I said, we were down to people who I yeah.
I love her
But
personality a lot.
but Emily is a fan. Kind of. She feels like, or not even she feels like, she did her little psych test, and they said that she had similar results as Cass, Chaos Cass. But what I didn't like about it is that she kind of like knew that. She was kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna be that girl. Like I'm ready to be a boss bitch, and I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna be a boss, and I'm gonna just say what I want. I'm gonna be honest. I can't really lie that well. So I'm going to be honest and I'm going to do what I need to do. And some people find me uptight. Some people find me abrasive. It is what it is. Oh, well. And it's kind of like that energy is why I'm like, I don't see promise from her. But it seems like she was going to play the game. She also is on a tribe that I think she could find a place in this tribe, but also she could be left out. So for her, it's like it's really up in the air for what her game is going to be. I don't see too much promise, but hey, she's here. There's that.
Yeah. She mentioned a girl with a platinum blonde hair who was reading the same books as her. I'm assuming that has to be Hannah.
It was Hannah.
So you said it was?
Yeah, well, it was.
Yeah, so that's really good for her. And then she also mentioned Brandon mentioned her. She mentioned Brandon. So I
She
mean,
also mentioned Sabaya, purple jumpsuit.
yes. So I do think there's a possibility that she could get some really, really good connections. And if she gets, I think she's a player that if she can, get into a spot where she has power, I think she's
Mm-hmm.
going to be someone that can really make moves and dictate positions. She's someone I think similar to a Kelly, where it's like a little bit even more than the Kelly. Where like I think she could be a victim of 6-person tribe girl, keep the tribe strong, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And that scares me is because she also is clearly very self aware of herself. Like when she's saying like I'm abrasive and people perceive me in these type of like kind of negative ways with some of the ways she described herself. It seemed like of course she knows that by her real life experiences. But I'm really hoping that because she didn't give me that she would go in and change that about herself to like make people not perceive her that way, and that kind of what scares me. It gives like she may go in, be her complete self. People are kind of turned off, and she's a tribe target, especially depending on how well she does in the competition. Because she mentions she does not have great survival skills. She's not great at building the fire. She's not that great at building shelter. Hopefully, she
Yeah.
at least attempts to do all of those things because we've seen the people go out there and they
Not
don't even try, and they be like, "Well, they can go."
Yeah.
But I really like the potential that Emily has, so I'm excited to see where she goes.
Oh shit. I can definitely see that. Who you got next, King?
Next is the man. I need to stop.
Is it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
We only
Lord.
got like 2 men left, right? And they were both
I think so.
towards
Yeah.
the end for me. My next pick is going to be D Val. D D or this person? Fuck it. I'm going with Kendra.
Period. Okay.
I like Kendra. I like Kendra's energy. I
I
like
like it.
Kendra's vibe. She, like I said, I mean, we're towards the end, so hey, I'm picking one
Oh no!
because I
I
love
did love
Kendra,
Kendra's
but
energy.
I
I
don't
want
think
Kendra to
they're
do
gonna
good.
love Kendra, and that's the biggest thing
She can
because
give
they
Tiffany from
mentioned
Uvu. Tiffany from that season with Shan and them.
she does, and the thing is, we were mentioning if the girls stick together, it won't really matter. So
Mm-hmm.
on Bello, she's on the Bello tribe. So I think that she has a potential of getting in some sort of girl group, but also just in general, like I was saying earlier, like Jake on the Bello tribe, he was saying like he doesn't really know how he feels about her. Bruce mentioned specifically he feels like there are going to be strong women that want to target men. She's sitting at 5'10". She mentions herself that she is someone when she walks in the room, she's very confident in the way she walks. She has the broad
Mm-hmm.
shoulders. Like people get intimidated. A
Yeah,
certain
there's a
level of
lot of
confidence.
people
When you're
already
a mother,
intimidated.
it happens because even Caleb, I think he mentioned like there's a girl with the wolf earrings. She looks like someone that's gonna want to target men. Why does she just give target men energy? That's not even
She
something she
is gonna target.
mentioned.
I think that's the energy. I think she's
But
actually
that's
gonna
not
get.
even something she mentioned in the thing, though. So it's like it's
Right.
interesting that like two people specifically call her out for that.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. So I'm hopingly like similar to Caleb in the way like she has the perception. So I'm hoping that she realizes she has to diminish that going in. She feels like someone, she's kind of go with the flow type of person. If something pops into her mind, she's that person. I'm gonna go for her and do it. Like she been Survivor one night. She woke up said, "I'm gonna win the game." Without even applying, she was telling people she was going to go on it, and now she's actually on it. So it's like these people like this, I watch out for, because
Period.
people who actively manifest things for themselves and it actually works out, something
That shit works
they
out.
got some angel dust or something. And she mentioned
Yeah.
she's like an extremely lucky girl. Like not even gonna lie, I'm pretty lucky. So I just feel like I don't know. I really love those personable qualities. I think if people actually look past what they originally perceive of her, they'll really like her as well because she seems pretty down to earth, and I really like that. The only negatives is that I don't really know, similar to a lot of people towards the end of this list, how she fits into the actual game of it all. I do think that if she gets into a position where she's not targeted, that she could be included in a lot of the important conversations, of course, but I just don't know where it really goes from there.
Yeah. I like her energy. It's just a scary position. There's people on her tribe who already want her out,
Like
literally.
what?
So that's scary for me. Also, she said that she's looking for someone who's grounded because she's a little bit more emotional. She definitely can just act on her emotions, and that's not necessarily always the best. So that's a little bit scary too. So I think she has some things about her that could hold her back a little bit. But if she finds the right situation, I think it could work. If she does get in this girl situation and then they get it to merge, I think she could work something out a little bit. Like everyone has a chance in this game. It's never not a chance. So there's that. I like her. So that's good. Really, really like her energy. I'm excited to see her play. And I want her to make it far. I kind of am tired of the girls, like the women who I like, just getting cut pre-merge. I really hope this season is differently. It's different because I'm sick of it.
That's why I'm drafting accordingly. The women be getting out. They don't.
Period. Wake it up.
They be getting them girls out for no reason at all.
No, they actually do. Please don't do that again. That would suck. I also don't think it would even be that necessary this time. There's some weak boys, or potentially like even on the Bello tribe, if they're talking about weak, I'm not. Brando probably not eating it up. Like, just vote him out. I don't know. Shit, I'm sick of it. But I think we have 4 people left. We have D, Drew. Are they all on the? They're all on the Reba tribe. It's literally all Reba tribe. D, Drew, Julie, or Nick Sifu are the last 2.
Damn, that's crazy.
They're also my bottom 4. They are literally 15, 16, 17, 18 on
They're
my
not
list.
my bottom. Two of those are my bottom two, and then there's a gap. You got both of the people in that gap, and
Who
then
was it? I want to know. Who? Demi.
Emily and Hannah.
Emily and Hannah. Oh, you just hate women.
Oh my God, we're not putting this on
I'm
me.
going to pick Drew though. I do feel like of these people left, he's promising.
Oh, so you just gonna choose? Okay,
What?
you just gonna choose a man? Really? You hate me.
I'll tell you the reason. I feel like
Okay.
of these last people, he is the most promising. He's actually a pretty like a fan good enough to really know what he's talking about. He mentioned how he should have been 3D printing some of these puzzles, but he couldn't. But he still printed out some of the physical puzzles, tried to practice puzzle to come in. He's mentioning people like Cochrane. When he describes himself, he says, I was a Cochrane, but now I'm actually growing into a more personable Cochrane. And for me, that's what kind of turned me off. I'm like, girl, you don't know yourself that well. I don't feel
him.
That's just how it feels. It feels like from his answer, because he could, but from his answer, it just feels like he's saying he's a more personable Cochrane. He said it 3 times in this entire interview. To me, it just makes me feel like, okay, you're trying to be a more personable Cochrane. I hope you succeed. But the fact that he knows that Cochrane is someone to look up to, he is planning on being someone strategic like that. He mentions Jonathan Penner. He mentions Rob Sesternino as people he might be more like because they're more personable. They are social players and they're also really, really smart. And I think that's where he's aiming to be, like a social player who's really smart. All of his moves that he liked from past seasons were strategic moves, like the idle plays, the David and Goliath split minority vote. So it shows that he's a super fan. He's probably going to come in here and play. He's going to try to be sociable, even if he might not be. I was worried about how he would fit in his tribe, honestly, because this tribe, you could say it could give cool kids, if anything, just because I feel like Austin, J. Maya, D could vibe. They just could. They're similar age. They all are like similar archetypes, like D and J. Maya. You know, they're pretty girls, and Austin's a pretty boy, and so is Sifu. Like it could give a clicky group, and he might not fit in this clicky group. So I was like, the tribe, I don't know how he fits in, but honestly, I don't think he's that bad. I'm surprised you didn't pick him a little bit earlier. And I would have if I didn't like everybody else better.
It honestly just feels like, because how old is he?
22, 23.
He's like I think he comes off as older, but he's still just pretty younger. And I know one of the experiences he was talking about, like being sociable, and knowing he'll be able to relate to people, was working at a call center for like a year and a half, which I just did not think was a great example. Mainly because I work at a call center, and I'm like, I mean, he personally talking to nobody, he didn't do shit for me.
He said what he said was, he's like, usually I'm just around a bunch of rich people all the time, and then I worked at a call center for fun for a year, and that was my great experience of how I can be more personable. So I can see why that's not promising.
So and that's what it really comes down to. I would love to see his social ability work out on his tribe and kind of see where that goes, because I can see him being someone left out, but I can also see him being someone very useful. But I think he's also in that Brando spot where, like, if we put you on the puzzle boy and you flop, it's giving, well, what do we need you for?
Yeah.
But I do feel like even like hearing him speak, like listening to him, watching his mannerisms, like he did feel like someone that isn't as like an awkward person. I think a lot of people who fits his archetype, they usually come off as like awkward. I feel like he doesn't really come off as awkward. I think he just looks like it. But once you actually start speaking to him, I think that he kind of split a little bit. I think he probably is slightly a little bit more personable, and we'll just have to see if it plays out. I feel like the main reason why I just didn't pick him that early is because I feel like off first perceptions did not see the path for him. And I mean, that's what he mentioned. Like, he mentioned, like, people's first impressions, he want people to underestimate him and things like that. So I feel like that he could also be a sleeper as well.
Yeah, I see that for sure.
He compared himself to Ryan Ulrich, though, which I really did not like. Ryan was the dude in Ben and Chrissy's Final Three, where he kept cutting Mother off. Trying to get his point across, and looking stupid as hell. You're gonna argue with Mother,
arguing with the wrong person the whole time.
Like, I ain't even like that comparison.
Not we getting heated, but yeah, he did say that. I like him though. I really do like him. He mentioned that he wants to find someone older than him so that they can have more insight than he might have. That's a self-awareness. He also said he wants to vibe with Austin, and he would love to vibe with Bruce, but he's really scared of Sifu/Nicholas, who is on his tribe. He says that beefy guy, that's not somebody who I think I'm going to want to work with. So Sifu/Nicholas, he's not feeling, and they're on the same tribe, but he is really feeling Austin. So he might kind of try to lean over towards Austin's way. So that'll be an interesting dynamic for that tribe. We got 3 people left. Lee? You have to pick a woman.
D.
Finally.
I didn't have to pick a woman. I can still pick Nicholas.
Oh, I forgot he was here.
But I'm picking D. I really like Dee. One of the main reasons why she's just so low is that she like it was mainly just the personality. Her being a fan, it didn't really seem like she had
Was
known the
actually
game for that long. I think, of course, like a lot of people have been Survivor, especially with the pandemic and things like that. So a lot of people just love the game, but it didn't. I didn't get the sense off initial impressions that she kind of understood the strategy and how to use her social connections. Like she's someone who's been in sales. She owns her own backpacking business, so a businesswoman, multiple businesses. Love that for her. And she mentions relating to a Sandra and a Jesse from Survivor 43, but that was mainly because of the Latin heritage. It wasn't she didn't really go into detail of how they played the game. So it just makes me feel like I don't really know. I would love if she go out there and be a Jesse or a Sandra or I mean, a D, but I don't really know. But I feel like in general with D, she's someone who's gonna get put into a good position. I don't think people are not gonna. I don't think she's gonna turn people off from working with her. I think a lot of people could want to work with her, want to use her in certain ways. She seems like someone who's gonna be able to provide for the tribe, and that puts her in a good position. Then it'll be interesting to see where she goes from there. But overall, really just gotta see. She said a red flag for her is Drew, who was on her tribe.
hmm
And she also mentioning really wanting to work with Bruce. So we'll see where that goes for Mr. Drew.
yeah, we will. Um, I don't have many thoughts about her, honestly. She seemed fun. That's all. My next pick,
This is the last pick, and I get the other
my
person.
last pick is either Julie or Sifu, and honestly, I didn't feel good about either of them in any way. I'm honestly just picking the least worst one right now. Is what I'm trying to do. I'm not even trying to be mean, but it's like, damn, I just wasn't feeling it at all. Um, but Sifu's answers, it didn't even seem like he even knew what Survivor was for real for me. Like,
Oh
I don't.
no!
He literally said, "I want an ally who can lay out their plans, like what they want to do, and then I'll just do it for them." That's what he said. He says, "I want an ally who can tell me what they want to do and lay out their plans, and then I can help them." So for me, that's just terrible. You're not winning this game. So honestly, I'm picking Julie, but just because of that. Like I feel like with
Oh.
Julie, I feel like with Julie, she wanted to be her own independent player. She did say that she is gonna have a hard time lying, and she doesn't plan on lying. She plans on being loyal, finding her ride or die, riding with them and moving along. And I just like that better than what Sifu was saying, which was I want to find somebody who's gonna tell me what to do so I can do it.
And you
What
gonna
the
leave
fuck?
me with 6 men? I guess you got 6 men.
You chose 5 men in a row.
Okay, but I wanted 4 women.
Why you didn't choose them? I literally chose
They're just lower on my list.
girl, boy, damn near the whole time.
They're just lower. I mean, like I said, Sabaya and Kelly, they were both higher.
Okay.
And then that was it from there. It is what
I
it
mean,
is.
honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Like my list, like I agree. Sabaya and Kelly were the only high girls because after that it was Caleb, Brandon, Jake, and I think Austin and Brando. Like those people were all up there for me. But you wanted
I
them
mean, it's
really
just
bad.
hard because I mean the recent history. It's like all the women go home, and it's just harder to see kind of how they're going to really be able to
That's true.
make it out of the
I
six
agree.
person dynamic. But specifically with Julie, I really like her personality. I liked her spunk. I think that she's someone where like if her tribe continues to win, which we're kind of thinking that may happen. I think she could, of course, be in a merge scenario. I don't think any people will be looking at her. She's gonna just need that big moment. Like I think she could be someone that potentially gets taken along, and if she is in the right position, she can make a move that benefits her. I think she's a recent fan. She started watching Survivor. She's like 49 now, and she started at 40 when she went back to law school. So it's like she's a recent fan, but she loves the game, and I feel like I truthfully believe that she actually loves it. It doesn't feel like she just watches it when it comes
Yeah.
on TV. So that makes me like her a little bit more, but I don't know if she's gonna be able to connect the two, like what she's seen into the actual game. Um, so yeah, we'll just have to see how it works out for Miss Julie.
I
And
agree.
then I mean Nick. I mean, saying what you were saying, I think his biggest thing is that he's going to come off as a physical advantage for the tribe. You know, he currently owns a gym, so of course he's definitely the physical advantage. But and other than that, I just didn't really see where he goes. He feels that he is adaptable. You know, he kind of goes for what he wants. You know, he's owned a coffee shop before. Um, you know, he was a musician. He's toured. But I don't really know how that fits for the game of Survivor. He really does feel like he's just gonna be like a dud, no shade. Didn't you say he mentioned like Ben or something?
He mentioned Wu and Ben,
Like
where he
liking
like.
Woo and liking
And
Ben.
his
I'm just
favorite
like,
moment, he said, "Oh my God, Tony had made a joke this one time." And Tony is a funny character, but like it seemed like what he took from Survivor seemed to be the fun of it, which is wonderful. But baby, this is a game. And I think that's the issue. Like I think he's seen Survivor and he loves to look at the challenges and he loves the comedy of it all, which is wonderful. There's nothing wrong with watching it for that. But when it's coming to the game, it just doesn't seem promising that he'll be a contender. But boom. I mean, here are our official draft picks. Period.
definitely giving. I don't know. I don't really know what it's gonna give. Honestly, we'll just have to see. Usually with Survivor,
We're just gonna have
the
to see.
information we are recapping based off of is like very minuscule,
Yeah.
especially preseason.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
interested to see. I'm interested. I can't wait for the premiere. It's next week, next Wednesday. But I mean, I'm probably gonna win again just based off statistics. So
Statistics do say he would win. I just feel like I hope not. Looking at your group of people, I would love a Samaya
this is
or a
always
Caleb.
how it ends up happening. Like
Yeah, that's true.
I pick my tribes really based on who I think is more likely to win based off a
Like a
lot of
wide
assortments of
variety.
things,
Yeah.
and I usually end up hating my hitting my tribe my
Yeah.
team by the end of it. But I'm just like, well, shit, one of them probably gonna win, so let's go.
Yeah. Boom. Comment below who tribe you like. I mean, who team you like better? Who you think gonna win? What person you think gonna win? Which one of the players you like so far from the preseason? Comment all that below. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure y'all tune in because every Wednesday we are literally going to be covering Survivor live after the live show. Or the show is not live, but live right after the show shows the fuck. Period. On Wednesdays, we're also covering Amazing Race. We're also be covering Big Brother for the rest of the season since it's going on for 80 more fucking days. So tune in for Big Brother, Survivor, The Challenge, Amazing Race. Make sure y'all follow, subscribe, like, and thank you for keeping it real with the kingdom. Baby, we out. Bye.